Okay, everybody. Today I'm not going to turn my camera on. I don't think you need me to have my camera on since my video is so small anyway. I might turn it on if I feel like I really need to make a point, but for the most part, I think these are going to be fine videos just to listen to. I'm going to go through them the same way I did for chapter one and the syllabus. My camera's just not going to be on, and that'll give you more room to see the PowerPoint anyway. So, okay, we are covering chapter five right now. You should see the chapter five PowerPoint. Let me start it from the beginning and make it full screen. There we go. So you don't need to worry about that. I only started there so you could see. And then if we were in person, would be taking a quiz over this, but we're not. So we're not. So this though will teach you kind of how to train your brain to build a topic outline. And if you're wondering what a topic outline is, then you need to read chapter five. Because remember, my job is to supplement the readings to help you understand what you read, but your job is to read, right? This is not a substitute for reading. So if you look at the quiz, even though you're not taking it, before we get even into chapter five, you're looking at the central idea, which is essentially your main points listed in a single sentence. So, by the central idea, I should be able to determine what the rest of those components on my outline would be. So, my general purpose is going to be to inform, and then my specific purpose is to inform my audience of three factors that shape our self esteem, and then my main points are mirrored by the wording and the central idea. So you'll see what's called a similar pattern of wording. Our self esteem is shaped by our immediate family. Our self esteem is shaped by our interaction with friends. Our self esteem is shaped by the media. So, as you can see, we're using a similar, not identical, because the first two have by our, and then the third one has by the. So, it's not identical, but it's as close as possible to identical. It's what the textbook calls a similar pattern of wording. And then the reason that we do that is because if I list my main points like that in those complete sentences, and then I try to put them all into one sentence, it's much easier for me to do that if I've begun them all the same way with the same phrasing. So I just write, our self esteem is shaped by, and then I fill in the blanks with the different parts of each of the sentences. So I just list those main points in one single sentence. So that's an example of a topic outline. Speaking of examples of topic outlines, I am going to be emailing you an attachment with today's recap email that is an example of the topic outline for speech number one, which is due tonight at 11:55 p.m. The topic outline only, not anything else, just the topic outline for that speech. Okay, so chapter five, selecting a topic and a purpose. Chapter five's all about topic outlines. So again, if you did the required reading for last night, then you will have already seen this template. It's the topic outline template, which eventually becomes the heading for your preparation outline, which is what PO stands for. You can see up there. So if this looks brand new to you, make friends with the handout, the topic outline template handout that was just to review, that's open in the handout section of coursework on Wolf Den. So you're going to put your name in there. The speech number and type will be speech number one and informative. Outline due date is today's date. Broad topic area is whatever you choose to do your speech about. So for speech number one, if you've looked at the assignment criteria, which are open for you on Wolf Den in coursework under the speech number one heading, click on speech assignment criteria and look at everything there. Click around on it. It's got a description, it's got instructions, and it has an attachment, I believe. So click on everything and read it all. I'll also clarify that in today's lesson and in today's recap email. So the broad topic area might be whatever your favorite song is, if you do a speech about your favorite song, or your precious object. Let's say it's a necklace that your grandma gave you. So your broad topic area might read something like my grandma's necklace, or I hope you dance, if that's the song you chose. So if that doesn't make sense to you, it's because you're not familiar with the speech number one assignment criteria, but I will go over that in more detail in a little bit. So the general purpose is to inform. The specific purpose, you finish that phrase where those three dots are, the ellipsis, to inform my audience of the three reasons that I Hope You Dance is relevant. The central idea, again, is a list of your main points in one sentence, and the main points are complete sentences, properly punctuated, that are the main ideas of your speech that you plan to support in your presentation. So, how do we plan our speeches? Well, the first thing we need to do is find a good speech topic. For our purposes, I'm giving you the broad speech topic more or less. I'm giving you the umbrella to put whatever you want to do your speech under. So you are going to choose the specific thing that you do, but I'm going to give you sort of the guideline of what kind of speech topic would be appropriate for the assignment. So for our purposes, the first speech is about your personal interest. So it will be about, if you read that assignment criteria that's posted on Wolfden, it will be about your favorite song or book or poem or other piece of literature. It can even be about your favorite movie, your favorite TV show, your favorite podcast, or about a precious object that is significant to you. But the key is to explain with your main points why it's significant to you, why it's significant to the people who are listening to it in your audience, and why it's significant to society as a whole. So you're going to be taking the personal and making it universal, which is to say you're taking something that is important to you, and then you're expanding it by digging deeper into what it represents and what we can pull out of it to make it relevant for all of us. So if you were to choose your lacrosse stick, if you play lacrosse, and you choose your lacrosse stick as your precious object, you might say, my lacrosse stick is significant to me because it reminds me of all of the hard work that I've put in to be good at this sport. It's significant to my lacrosse stick is significant to my audience because it reminds us of the value of persevering in the face of adversity. And it's significant to society because it reminds us of how much we can accomplish when we work together as a team. Something like that. So you're digging deeper, you're not just scratching the surface. So, how do you find a good speech topic? Well, let's get more in detail on that idea. So, anything that you pick should be potentially meaningful to the audience. The reason why I am such a stickler about how these main points for the speech number one are constructed is to tune your antenna to get you in the habit of instinctively making things meaningful to the audience. Because if I mean, the public part is your speech, right? The speaking part or sorry, the speaking part is your speech. You could be doing that in front of the mirror, but the public part requires the audience. So they're 50% of the name of the course. The public part requires an audience. The speaking part requires the speaker. So when you put those together, you need to be doing something with the audience that you have to present it to in mind. So tailor it to them. If you can hear my cat crying, it's because he doesn't like me being loud. So sorry if you hear him. He's very opinionated. So make sure that you tailor that message to the audience and keep them in mind when you are constructing it. But it's also got to be important to you because what's important to you will be important to us if you can bridge that gap and both tailor it to us and make it important to you. Because if you don't care about the topic, you can't make us care about it. But if you do care about it, you can make that enthusiasm contagious. So it should be something that the speaker already knows something about. I think that goes without saying because how are you going to pick it if you don't know about it? But I guess maybe if you just search Chat GPT and you pick something you had no idea about, I guess that could happen. It's got to fit the time limit, which for our purposes is 4 to 6 minutes. So we want to shoot for 5 because that gives us that cushion. We talked about that yesterday. And it needs to fit the general purpose of the speech. So it's appropriate for the assignment criteria, the time, the place, the occasion, all that jazz. So when we're looking for ideas, if you email me and you're like, Professor Butler, I have no idea what I want to do my speech about, I'm going to say, well, what did you come up with when you free associated or you clustered? And then you might go, look over there. I didn't do those things yet. So let's talk about what those two methods of coming up with a topic are like. So clustering is when we make a list of categories: people, places, things, events, processes, concepts, problems, natural phenomena, plans, and policies. So let's say I'm going to do people. let's say I do a list of 5 people. I do Barack Obama, I write down Beyonce, I write down George Washington, I write down Jackie Robinson, I write down Selena Gomez, right? I just whatever people come to my brain. And so I make that list, and then I do the same for places. I write 5 places, and for places, they could be really specific or they could be broader. Like I could write a coffee shop or I could write Starbucks. I could write New York City or I could write the Empire State Building. So whatever your brain thinks of is correct, because the purpose is to stimulate your brain to think of things, because your brain is going to guide you to things that you're interested in and things that you know about. So, excuse me. So I am going to make a list of all of those things. Excuse me, sorry. So I'm going to make a list under all those categories. And then I'm going to go back and see if any of them resonate with me. If I look at that and I go, oh, wow, like I wrote down Beyonce and I really want to do a song from one of her albums as my personal interest speech. Boom, I've got my topic. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. So if I write down, it's cold, and sometimes when it's cold, like I don't know, I have asthma. So sorry if I sound a little bit different today. That's also part of why I didn't want to have my camera on. I'm a little stuffy. So if I write down all of these categories, and I've got a list of 5 things in these categories, or even more, you don't have to limit it to 5. Maybe I can find a topic from there, or at least I've got a jumping off point to free associate. So when I free associate, I let my brain roam from wherever it wants to wherever it wants to. I just give it a little bit of a push. So let's say that I look back at this and I don't see anything that I know I want to write a speech about. But I know that these things came from my brain and I want to trust my brain to get me where I need to go. So let's go back to people. Let's go back to Beyonce. So I go, okay, Beyonce makes me think of lemonade. Lemonade makes me think of summer. Summer makes me think of baseball. Baseball makes me think of Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson makes me think of barriers, breaking them. And that makes me think of fences. And fences make me think of playgrounds. And playgrounds make me think of elementary school. And elementary school makes me think of swing sets. Swing sets make me think of daytime. Daytime makes me think of nighttime. Nighttime makes me think of the moon. The moon makes me think of Moon River. Moon River makes me think of the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. Oh my gosh, I love that movie. I could do a speech for speech number 1 about that movie. So my brain took me all the way there. So there are different ways that you can find your topic and stimulate your brain to do that. You can do what I just did and do it out loud. You can record yourself and listen back to it. You can write it down. But that's how you're going to get your topics when you're stuck, if you don't think of something right off the bat. Okay. So find a good speech topic. Step 1, we just went through that. And then step 2, determine your purpose. So for our purposes, our first speech is to inform. It's an informative speech. And the second speech we're going to do is a persuasive speech. So the general purpose is the broad goal of the speech. This is on your exam. And it's always just those 2 words that are plugged in already for you in the topic outline. It's either to inform or to persuade. For speech number 1, it's to inform. For speech number 2, it's to persuade. So after I know if I'm trying to persuade or I'm trying to inform, I want to narrow my topic. I want to find that specific purpose, which is filling in more to inform my audience about what, to persuade my audience of what. So at the end of my speech, I want my audience to know, believe, or do a certain thing. And then that will guide me to how I finish that specific purpose. So a specific purpose is a single infinitive phrase. What's an infinitive phrase? Well, it begins with an infinitive. What's an infinitive? Well, you might have learned a long time ago in English class that an infinitive is a verb with the word to in front of it. So to inform, to persuade, those are infinitives. To jump, to run, to sit, to stay, to laugh, to cry, those are also infinitives. So when you finish those or you fill those out a little bit more, they become infinitive phrases. So for our purposes, our specific phrase, our specific purpose is always going to begin with to inform my audience or to persuade my audience. And then you fill in those dots. So it states precisely what the speaker hopes to accomplish during the speech. So for speech number one, let's say I did breakfast at Tiffany's, then my infinitive phrase, my specific purpose might be to inform my audience of the 3 reasons that breakfast at Tiffany's is significant. Okay. Our specific purpose, again, needs to be a full infinitive phrase. It needs to be phrased in the form of a statement rather than a question. And we want to avoid slang or figurative language, both because it's not the most professional way to package ourselves, but also because slang can be different from generation to generation. Like how sometimes people will say things are sick, but it doesn't mean that they're sick. It means that they're good, right? When I was growing up, people would say things were bad when they were good. Like, that's so bad, but it was good. So sometimes from generation to generation, region to region, slang means different things, and we don't want to confuse people. So we want to avoid that type of language. Also, we want to limit our specific purpose to one distinct idea, and we want to be specific rather than vague. It's called a specific purpose, not a vague purpose. So here's an example of a specific purpose that is ineffective. 3D technology. What about it? To inform my audience about the 3 major kinds of current 3D technology. Now I know more what the speech is about. So that would be a good specific purpose. What is Dia de los Muertos? Well, you're the speaker, you tell me. So don't form it in the shaping or the phrasing of a question. Don't form it as a question, form it as a statement. So to inform my audience about 3 aspects of Mexico's Dia de los Muertos celebration. So that would be much more effective. Avoid that figurative language. To inform my audience that the campus policy on student parking really stinks. Well, from that, I can gather that you don't like the campus parking policy, but I don't know why. So that's not very persuasive. Plus, what stinks to you might not stink to another person. And so it's just too vague. This is how we polish it that and make it a little more specific. To persuade my audience that the campus student parking policy should be revised to provide more spaces for students before 5 p.m. If you go into a meeting with administration with this one versus this one, which one do you think they're going to take more seriously? Which one do you think they're going to find more credible and compelling? This one rather than this one. Okay. So it helps you be more compelling. It helps you be more credible. It helps you be more effective. It also helps you be more clear. And clarity is the most important thing. This is a specific purpose that is a little bit problematic: to persuade my audience to become literacy tutors and to donate time to the Special Olympics. Well, both of those things are good, but the problem is that they're 2 separate ideas. So they're 2 separate speeches. So to persuade my audience to volunteer would be effective. And then you can talk about how in your preparation outline, or to persuade my audience to become literacy tutors would be good. To persuade my audience to donate time to the Special Olympics would also be good. So we just need to be specific, because a lot of people run out of time, or their speech main points are convoluted. They're not very clear because they're straddling 2 different topics. So we're going to make sure that our topic is one lane rather than 2. So again, to persuade my audience of, the publisher left out a word there, 3 benefits of becoming a literacy tutor, or to persuade my audience to donate time to the Special Olympics, that would be sufficient. Or if your style's a little bit different, you want to give a little bit more, you can, like this person did. To persuade my audience of the need to donate time to the Special Olympics, how easy it is to satisfy that need, and how much you could help. But again, you could just stop with to persuade my audience to donate time to the Special Olympics, and I would accept that. So to persuade my audience that something should be done about the problem of unsafe school buses, well, what's the something? Nothing makes an audience more anxious than you, or few things do. I can't think of any, but they might be out there. But in my experience, almost nothing makes an audience more anxious than you pointing out a problem without any sort of notion of how to fix it, or even why it's a problem, or what could be done about it. So be specific, because you're just scaring people and they don't know how to make themselves unscared if you don't tell them, you just tell them that there's a problem, but you don't tell them what the problem is or how to fix it. So this is a little bit more effective. To persuade my audience that to make school buses safer, the US government should require them to have seat belts. Boom. That's a lot more clear. So when I'm crafting my specific purpose, I'm going to ask myself, does it meet the assignment criteria? Can I do it in 4 to 6 minutes? Is my audience going to care? Am I talking down to them? Is it too simple? Or am I talking over their heads? Is it too complicated? If I'm a football player and I'm talking about all of these different aspects of the football game, then I run the risk of people who don't watch football or haven't played football being lost. So I need to make sure it's not that I can't do those kinds of topics, but I need to make sure that I can relate them to my audience and make them more clear. So I don't want to talk down to them. I don't want to talk over their heads. An example of that might be, let's say I'm giving a speech about the constellations to a kindergarten class. And then I give a speech about the constellations to a middle school class. And then I give it to a high school class. And then I give it to a college class. And then I give it to a college class that is made up of astronomy majors. Or I give a speech about the constellations at an astronomers conference. On paper, that's the same topic, but how I approach the topic is going to depend a lot on my audience. I don't want to talk down to them. I can't give the same speech to the astronomers that I gave to the kindergartners and vice versa, because it'll be too trivial if I give the kindergartner speech to the astronomers convention, and it'll be too technical if I give the astronomers convention speech to the kindergartners. Okay, so step 1 and step 2 we've covered. Now step 3 is relate your specific purpose to a central idea / preview, which is another way to say relate your specific purpose to your main points. So what is a central idea? This is on your exam. It's a declarative sentence, not a question. It's a declarative sentence that is properly punctuated and capitalized. And it answers the question, what is your speech about? Or what are my main points? It's a declarative sentence that lists your main points in one single sentence. So if you haven't punctuated it, you don't have a subject and a verb, you don't have your main points listed, it's not capitalized, you've taken a wrong turn someplace. So express your central idea as a full declarative sentence, not a question. Avoid figurative language and being vague for the same reasons we've already covered. Again, I'm not playing these videos because when I share my screen, they get distorted or they don't play or the sound is off. There's always some sort of problem, but they're on the PowerPoints that are available to you in Wolfden and you can watch them. But even if you don't watch them, I'm still going to provide you with examples and you're going to be able to be fine if you don't watch them. FYI, there's an ambulance or some sort of rescue vehicle nearby. If it gets really loud and I mute it for a second, that's why. So this is not a complete sentence, but Professor Butler, it's capitalized and it has a period. Well, it doesn't have a subject or a verb. So problems of fad diets, even though it's punctuated, even though it has a capital letter at the beginning of it, it's still a sentence fragment. And I need you to hear me say that because a lot of you are going to write sentence fragments and think that they're complete sentences. Where's my subject? Where's my verb? Fad diets may lead to serious health problems by creating vitamin and mineral deficiencies and by breaking down muscle tissue. So from this, I can see what my main points for this speech probably are. So there are a couple ways I could break this down. So from my central idea, I should be able to cut and paste from that central idea into single main points and vice versa. I should be able to cut and paste and build a central idea from my main points. So here's what I mean when I say that. So my main points I can tell from this are something like fad diets may lead to serious health problems by creating vitamin deficiencies, period. That would be main point 1. Fad diets may lead to serious health problems by creating mineral deficiencies, period. That would be main point 2. Fad diets may lead to serious health problems by breaking down muscle tissue, period. And you hear how I've got that similar pattern of wording. I'm repeating fad diets may lead to serious health problems. The reason that we want to use that similar pattern of wording is because it helps us build our central idea. It also helps us stay on track. So if I were to have those 3 main points that I've just told you, and then my 4th main point is fad diets are popular because of movie stars. That has to do with fad diets, but it doesn't, it's like the Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other. It doesn't fit with the other one. So sometimes we don't realize we've taken a wrong turn someplace. We've gone off the beaten path until we look at all of our main points and we realize that one of them doesn't fit. So another way that this could be broken down is maybe main point one is fad diets may lead to serious health problems by creating vitamin and mineral deficiencies, period. And then main point two is fad diets may lead to serious health problems by breaking down muscle tissue. So I can have two separate main points, one vitamin, one mineral, and then the third is breaking down muscle tissue, or I can have two separate main points. So again, I'm going to repeat that. It might be fad diets may lead to serious health problems by creating vitamin deficiencies, main point one. Main point two, fad diets may lead to serious health problems by breaking down or by creating mineral deficiencies, period. And fad diets may lead to serious health problems by breaking down muscle tissue. Or it could be fad diets may lead to serious health problems by creating vitamin and mineral deficiencies, period. Main point two, fad diets may lead to serious health problems by breaking down muscle tissue. So if you need to go back and rewind to play that, I gave you a couple of different ways that the main points could be broken down out of the central idea. Either one of those would be correct. People vary stylistically. So my money for clarity would be to have three main points. What are nanorobots? I don't know. You tell me. Microscopic nanorobots are being developed for use in medicine, weaponry, and daily life. That's a lot more clear than this. So you don't ask the question, you answer the question as the speaker in the central idea. And again, from this, my main points are going to be microscopic nanorobots are being developed for use in medicine, period. Main point two, microscopic nanorobots are being developed for use in weaponry, period. Main point three, microscopic nanorobots are being developed for use in daily life, period. Avoid figurative language. Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula is an awesome place for vacation. Well, what's awesome for you might not be awesome for the next person. And I don't even know what's awesome to you by this main point or by this central idea. So how do I make it more clear? Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula has many attractions for vacationers, including a warm climate, authentic food, and extensive Mayan ruins. So main point one might be Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula has many attractions for vacationers, including a warm climate, period. Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula has many attractions for vacationers, including authentic food, period. Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula has many attractions for vacationers, including extensive Mayan ruins. So those would be my three main points. Paying college athletes a monthly salary is a good idea. It's too vague. How much? Where does the money come from? What about this? And this is obviously pre-NIL. The NCAA should allow their schools to pay athletes a $300 monthly salary, comma, allow them to collect endorsement money, comma, and allow them to receive monetary support from boosters. So from this, my main points are a little less cut and dry than they've been in previous examples. So my first one might be something like main point one. The NCAA should allow their schools to pay athletes a $300 monthly salary, period. Main point two, the NCAA should allow athletes to collect endorsement money, period. So the wording there is similar, but it's not identical. Main point three, the NCAA should allow athletes to receive monetary support from boosters. So the first one has to do with schools, and then the other two more the athletes specifically. So the wording is similar, but it's not identical. So again, if you need to rewind, back that up and hear that again. So here's a sample topic outline. To inform is my general purpose, and that's already plugged in for you in the template. And that assignment is going to be open for you as soon as I upload this video. The assignment will open for you, and I'm going to include in today's reminder email an example outline so you can see what your outline needs to look like. So to inform, you're going to see is already plugged in. You don't need to change that or add to it. And then you're going to add to inform my audience, ... You're going to take those dots out to inform my audience of the three major races in alpine skiing. The three major races in alpine skiing are the downhill, slalom, and giant slalom. Slalom is a fun word to say. So the first major race in alpine skiing is the downhill, period. The second major race in alpine skiing is the slalom, period. The third major race in alpine skiing is the giant slalom. So you see how from this, it says the three, and then I did the first, the second, the third. I could do one, another, and a final. I could do a major race, another major race, another or a final major race, I could word that differently as long as I'm not going three major races and alpine skiing is the downhill, because that doesn't make grammatical sense, right? I go from three, but then I break down those three. So one, another, one, a next, a final, first, second, third, and it all comes out of that central idea. So if we were together, we'd be taking an oral quiz. So I'll walk you through these. So if my central idea is the 4 stages of alcoholism, or the warning stage, the danger stage, the crucial stage, and the chronic stage, what do you think my general purpose is? It's to inform, because remember, it's only to inform or to persuade. Those are the only 2 options. So it's going to be to inform here, because I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything as much as I'm trying to teach them something. So in a persuasive speech, I'm going to be more of an advocate. In an informative speech, I'm going to be more of a teacher. So general purpose, to inform. And because I know that my specific purpose begins with to inform my audience. Well, how does it end? To inform my audience about the 4 stages of alcoholism. And then main point 1, the first stage of alcoholism is the warning stage, period. The second stage of alcoholism is the danger stage, period. The third stage of alcoholism is the crucial stage, period. And the fourth stage of alcoholism is the chronic stage. Boom. Let's do it again. You should join a sorority or a fraternity because of the social, academic, and economic benefits. So I know, and that's why I emphasize it vocally, I know from that phrasing, you should, that I'm in persuasive speech territory rather than informative, because I'm advocating for you to behave in a certain way, to do a certain thing. So from saying you should, I know that my general purpose is to persuade. From that, I know that my specific purpose is to persuade my audience of 3 reasons to join a sorority or fraternity, or to persuade my audience to join a sorority or fraternity. Main point 1, you should join a sorority or a fraternity because of the social benefits, period. Main point 2, you should join a sorority or fraternity because of the academic benefits, period. Main point 3, you should join a sorority or fraternity because of the economic benefits, period. See? Do it again. The pyramids of ancient Egypt had 3 major uses: as tombs for the burial of monarchs, as temples for worshiping the gods, and as observatories for studying the stars. I'm not trying to persuade you of anything, so it's to inform, and then to inform my audience of the 3 major uses of the pyramids of ancient Egypt. My main points, and this is a little tricky. The pyramids of ancient Egypt were used as tombs for the burial of monarchs, period. Or I could say something like, one major use of the pyramids of ancient Egypt, was as tombs for the burial of monarchs. I could phrase it all kinds of ways, but we'll go with, for our purposes, main point 1 is one major use of the pyramids of ancient Egypt was as tombs for the burial of monarchs, period. Another major use of the pyramids of ancient Egypt were as temples for worshiping the gods. A third major use of the pyramids of ancient Egypt were as observatories for studying the stars. So the first major use of the pyramids of ancient Egypt was as tombs for the burial of monarchs. The second major use of the pyramids of ancient Egypt was as temples for worshiping the gods. The third major use of the pyramids of ancient Egypt was as observatories for studying the stars and the planets. I went back and forth when I was going through it, and I said was or were because my Southern grammar got a little lazy, but this is correct. It should be was, not were. Let's do one more. Handwriting analysts try to determine personality traits by examining the consistency, angularity, and size of a person's writing. So this is to inform my audience of the 3 ways that handwriting analysts examine writing. You can phrase it, differently based off your style. And then main point 1, handwriting analysts try to determine personality traits by examining the consistency of a person's writing, period. Main point 2, handwriting analysts try to determine personality traits by examining the angularity of a person's writing, period. Main point 3, handwriting analysts try to determine personality traits by examining the size of a person's writing, period. See? Okay, so that is chapter 5. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to share something new. This is what I am going to attach to today's email. So this is an example. It says speech number 2 because this used to be speech number 2 in the regular term class, like a fall or a spring. But for y'all, it's speech number 1. So you're going to put your name in there, speech number 1, and informative, the outline due date, which is today's date, then your broad topic area. So your precious object, or your song, your movie, your book, your poem, your TV show, whatever. And then it's going to be to inform. You don't need to change that. And then to inform my audience, and then you fill out what you want us to know. And then your central idea right here. So this is a student, this is a real outline for this real assignment. So this is a student who did I Hope You Dance. So after she selected her topic, she wrote her central idea, as you can see here, just like we've been working on. And then my main points are derived directly from that central idea. So here's the kicker though, if you read that assignment criteria for speech number 1, you're going to see that I'm requiring you to word your main points in this way. So main point 1, because I'm trying to train you to make your topic significant to you, significant to the audience, and significant to society. And the reason I'm doing that is because, especially after COVID, I realized that students tended to stand up there and talk for 4 to 6 minutes only about themselves and why they thought something was important, or only about why the audience should think it was important, but they never established why they cared about it. It was like they weren't present in their speech. I think some of that, to be honest, was because people were leaning into AI, and AI is going to automatically depersonalize something. So it needs to be a balance. It needs to be about you, about the audience. And I want you to go even further and stretch it to something that anybody outside of this class could find significant. Okay. So the song I Hope You Dance is significant to me because the song I Hope You Dance is significant to my audience because, and the song I Hope You Dance is significant to society because. All of your main points need to be worded this way. So yours might look like the necklace my grandma gave me is significant to me because, fill in the rest. The necklace my grandma gave me is significant to my audience because. The necklace my grandpa or my grandma gave me is significant to society because. So your main points need to look like this. I'm going to attach this outline to today's reminder email so that you can use it as a resource. Okay. And as always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'm about to post this video and then I will post chapter 9, which is what we cover next. And the topic outline is due today at 11:55 p.m. Thank you.